UFC 290 Volkanovski versus Rodriguez is coming up this weekend, and guys, today I have my breakdown and prediction for you guys, and I'd love to know what you think after you hear my thoughts. Comment down below, let me know what you think. Before we get into the video, though, I do want to say hello everybody and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with too many YouTube channels. Let's start this breakdown with the tail of the tape. Starting off, of course, we know Alexander Volkanovski coming off of a loss. I thought that was a win. I thought this was a complete robbery, and Alexander Volkanovski should be defending this belt as the double champion. But before that, it's all clinical work by Alexander Volkanovski. We have Max Holloway, Chan Sung Jung, Brian Ortega, Max Holloway again. I even thought he won the other fight against Max Holloway that everybody was saying that he lost that fight. But Yair Rodríguez, Yair, he has one little bit of a rocky road in between his last five, and that's against Max Holloway. He lost that fight, but I still thought that he looked okay in that fight. I thought he looked good, so nothing to really take away from there. But his next two wins against Brian Ortega and Josh Emmett, there's a little bit of an issue with that, because while he did look good, Ortega had an injury, and I understand, yes, Yair put him in that situation. His ground game has significantly improved, by the way. He put Brian Ortega in that position to get injured, but we still didn't see enough where I'm like, okay, Yair is really here. He's really the next big thing to take on Alexander Volkanovski. And before that, Josh Emmett, I mean, absolutely no disrespect to Josh Emmett, but I don't think he belongs at the top of the division, and Yair was one of those fights against Josh Emmett. I was like, this isn't even be close. Yair was, if you could go, more than a lock of the week, that was going to be it for me. I don't believe Josh Emmett belongs with either of these two. But other than that, taking a look at their stats, you have Volkanovski, who's actually getting up there in age 34. He seems to be exiting his prime right now, but when looking at him, he still looks like he's very well in his prime. So one day we're going to start seeing him slow down, but we haven't, and he looked better than ever against Islam Makhachev. So I don't think him being 34 is something to really take a look at. Yeah, Yair Rodríguez, though, straight in his prime, looking better than ever, 30 years old. Other than that, the height, of course, you have a big height difference here, and Volkanovski, surprisingly, with that height difference, has those long arms, and that's something that has always really helped him, because Volkanovski can compete with these guys where he's really short, has a really short base, but long arms, and he can really take care of the boxing distance. It's really nice to see. He has a good build for this division. He really does. As I'm sure you guys have heard recently, a lot of people are saying that Yair Rodríguez is the most dangerous guy that Alexander Volkanovski has ever fought. I don't know if he is the best guy that Alexander Volkanovski has fought. I believe that goes to Islam Makhachev, and Volkanovski passed that test with flying colors. But I do believe Yair Rodríguez is the most dangerous opponent that he's ever faced, because Yair, of course, he is arguably, and I want to say, I'd really have to think about it, but off the top of my head, I would say he is literally the best kicker in the UFC, and it's tough for me to really predict this fight, because Volkanovski has just looked so good against everybody, and then every single time we see him, he looks better and better and better, no matter who you're fighting. It's like, okay, well, maybe Chan Sung Jung can get in and box up a little bit. Maybe Max Holloway's volume will be too much for him this time. Holloway's improved. Look what he just did to Yair Rodríguez. You know what I mean? Okay, Islam Makhachev is soon, and I was one of those guys. I was like, Islam's going to grab him, bully him. It's not even going to be a close fight. Volkanovski has shown, no weakness. Brian Ortega almost submits him twice. Fully locked in submissions. He just looks at him with his eyes open and gets out of it and just beats him up more. So when I imagine Yair Rodríguez being able to land his kicks, he's going to work the body, he's probably going to work the legs, and he's going to have those really sneaky head kicks. I can see a world where Yair Rodríguez lands these head kicks, because if you watch Volkanovski fight, he a lot of times he leans over into these kicks, and he ends up actually eating a lot of knees, a lot of kicks from different fighters, especially Islam Makhachev. He got kicked in the head, and he didn't necessarily get 2-2 rocked, but Volkanovski could absolutely get hit by Yair's head kicks. That's really the only danger that I see in this fight, is Yair landing head kicks, but the problem is that is a big danger coming from Yair Rodríguez. But if Yair was fighting anybody else in the division, I'd be like, okay, Yair can knock him out. But Volkanovski, no matter how much you rock him, no matter how much you put him in danger, no matter how much it looks like you could get him out of there, whether it's Islam Makhachev's ground game, whether it's Max Holloway's volume, whether it's Brian Ortega's submission game, he just sits there, overcomes anything that you throw at him, and he just bullies you right back. He does what you do better. He just pounds away at you for trying to finish him. So when I sit back and I think about this, okay, Yair can kick him in the head. Yair can knock him out. Yair is the best kicker in the UFC. He's very dangerous. But Volkanovski hasn't shown any weakness. I could see a world where Yair rocks Volkanovski. Volkanovski, like, slips into one of those kicks, and Yair could very well trick him with that. But then Yair, first of all, has no finishing instincts. Well, he tries, but at the end of the day, like, you've seen the way that guy, like, throws hammer fists. I mean, absolutely no disrespect by that, but you really, really need to finish Volkanovski. You're going to have, like, a Dustin Poirier mentality when you try to finish Alexander Volkanovski. So I can see a world where either Yair lands the head kick on Volkanovski, Volkanovski backs up for a minute and, like, maybe just wobbles a little bit. It's evident that he's hurt, and Yair either just tries to go for the kill, but he's not violent enough, or Volkanovski's going to take him down, and start pounding away on him. And that's how I envision that fight going. Before looking at this fight, when I initially did my full card breakdown, which if you want to check that out on the channel, by the way, we break down every single fight on the card, I was like, okay, well, Yair is really, really dangerous. And I keep, like, I keep saying, he's so dangerous. This is the most dangerous guy Alexander Volkanovski has ever fought. But Volkanovski just looks better and better every single time we see him. Why am I even considering that Yair Rodríguez might win this fight when everybody offers something to Alexander Volkanovski and he just keeps passing the test by flying colors? I believe that in order to beat Alexander Volkanovski, we're going to have to wait a little bit because, again, I wholeheartedly believe that he won that fight against Islam Makhachev. In order to beat him, we're going to have to wait for him to get like 36. His age is going to catch up to him one day, and his cardio is not going to be so good. Maybe he won't be able to eat the same shots. We're going to have to wait until a day like that before I believe we see Alexander Volkanovski lose. Because like I was saying earlier, Yair will need a finishing rate, and that's why I really want to see this fight if Volk goes back up to 155. I would love to see him fight Dustin Poirier because I can see that happening. Dustin could put him in trouble, and then Dustin has that killer instinct. You know when Dustin Poirier smells blood? He's just relentless, powerful. I would love to see that. Actually, talking about 155 pounds, I believe Dustin Poirier is the worst matchup for Alexander Volkanovski, and maybe I'll make a whole video on that because that'd be very interesting. But that's not what we're talking about. The reason I brought up Dustin Poirier was because you need to smell blood like he does and go for the kill if you hurt Volkanovski. Yair, I can't see doing that. And I don't see him landing a head kick or a body kick, and that will really affect Volkanovski to the point where he just falls over. You know what I mean? I can't see that happening. When talking about these two matching up, though, because I was just talking about, like, Volkanovski as a survivor, I could very well see, because the reach, Volkanovski has a 0.5 reach advantage. Maybe he won't even let Yair get into kicking range, but then again, those kicks kind of come up out of nowhere. Volkanovski will certainly have the wrestling advantage, certainly have the jiu-jitsu advantage. Well, yeah, then again, then saying that Yair has really, really improved. He'll have the cardio advantage, he'll have the boxing advantage. I can see a world where Volkanovski just plows forward the whole time, just throwing jabs in his face like Alex Caceres did. Well, I know Alex didn't throw just jabs, but we've seen some fighters in Yair Rodríguez's career where they're busy enough where Yair has a little bit of an issue getting his kicks off. I can see Volkanovski doing that for 5 rounds. And Volkanovski is probably going to be hungrier than ever because he wants to get that fight with Islam Makhachev again. Because if everything goes according to plan, Islam Makhachev will win his next fight and Alexander Volkanovski will win this fight, then they'll rematch. He'll probably want to be double champion. He'll probably want to get that loss back. I can see this guy being hungrier than Yair Rodríguez is. And in a 5-round fight, this guy has absolutely no quit in him. This guy will pour it on. He will destroy Yair Rodríguez. That's how I see this fight going. Saying that, though, he is due for an upset. That day's coming, but I do not believe that that day will be at UFC 290. I don't know who it will be, but one day we will see this guy lose. I don't think it's going to be against Yair, though. Guys, let me know what you thought about this fight down below, and thank you so much for watching this video. If you'd like to check out any other video on the Clenbat channel, I'll have 2 videos on screen for you right now. Check them out. I think they are pretty great. I will either see you there, guys, or in the next video. Take care.